Folks, welcome into Degenerate Danger Zone. I'm your host, Ty B, joined by Meerkat. And today is a holiday. No, I'm not talking about April Fool's Day. I'm talking about MLB opening day, one of the best betting days in all of sports, Meerkat. I'm absolutely juiced to get down to the creek and get my plays in. But you got a ton of action. Pretty much every team playing today. So much to bet on, and we have futures as well. Meerkat, where's your head at right now?
It's all over the place, man. I love betting on the MLB. Baseball is not my favorite sport to watch. Not saying I don't enjoy watching it, but my favorite team's the Yankees, but I'm not even that invested in them. And it's just I'm not as big into baseball as I am, NFL, NBA, some college sports. But I love, love, love gambling on baseball between player props, the over/unders, first 3 innings, first 5 innings, everything you could take, and there's always an edge to be had. And I came into DDZ when I first started, right in the midst of the shortened baseball season last year. It's how we started out pretty much, was baseball and NHL stuff. And I did really well in baseball, so I'm excited to get back into it now.
Absolutely. We're going to get back to a full 162 game slate. So that'll make things much more interesting,
Mhm.
especially for these futures. Let's look at some of these divisional futures real quick first. I think
Mhm.
one of my first plays that I'm going to be making, I'm looking at that AL West. I think that the trash throws are continuing to take steps back. They're not getting better. And the Athletics, they're still developing young guys like AJ Puck, who's going to be stepping into that rotation. I love his arm. And Jesus Luzardo as well. Getting them at plus 145 to win the AL West is an absolute steal, Meerkat. I think that one should be hammered by everyone and their mother, and maybe even their brothers. Meerkat, what's your first divisional play?
My first one, I'm sticking in the AL. I'm going with the AL Central winners. Even with the injury to Eloy Jimenez, I still love the White Sox this year. They're an absolute unit of a team. They looked great in the shortened season last year. Strong pitching staff, incredible lineup. What do? They get stronger. They shore up that pitching staff. They get Lance Lynn, who is a solid starter. They get Liam Hendricks in the relief there, who lights out. And you look at the lineup, they are just so good. Luis Robert, one of the most exciting young players in baseball. Yoan Moncada kind of stepping it up. Tim Anderson, Nick Madrigal, Jose Abreu, obviously,
And
Grandal. They're so deep. That lineup is a threat. Their pitching staff is shored up, led by Lucas Giolito, who we
yeah,
all love here on DDZ. I think they're minus 120. I think they should be like minus 200.
no, I think I'm right there with you, Meerkat. You look at Yoan Moncada, he took a big step back last year. That's because he had COVID at the beginning of the year and he never felt right. He talked about how it really made him feel sluggish and he never caught up. And even his off year wasn't that bad. So, if he can get back to that form, hitting 300 for that team, along with everything else, they're going to be absolutely unstoppable. And you look at it, the Indians getting rid of some of their guys. They moved Clevenger, before the season ended. And then they get rid of Lindor in the offseason. They have one of the lowest payrolls in all of baseball. I don't love them this year. It's pretty much the Twins or the White Sox for me. And if you're making me choose, it's easily the White Sox. I think they're just deeper, more youthful. I think they should be ready for the long season. And my next play here, Meerkat, I think this one's just giving away free money. I just put up my NL East preview over on trainwrecksports.com. Make sure you guys go check that one out. Tons of great insights and info. Lots of young players in that division to watch, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you're looking at the NL East, the Braves at plus money. Huh, thank you. You're just printing it
Yep.
for me. I think that's a very easy one to make a play on. The Braves are the best team in that division. They proved why last year. They won it easily. The Marlins finished there in second place, the only other team that was over 500. But the Braves were the only team in the division over 500 at home and on the road. They played very well, even against the AL East competition, which the rest of the division struggled with. And I think, you look at that pitching rotation with Max Fried and Ian Anderson. You add a couple guys, some real veterans in Charlie Morton, and I think that getting Soroka back. And after having Freddie Freeman winning the MVP and Acuna being right there with him, I think this team is just poised to have another really, really big year. And I think they're going to be challenging the Dodgers at the top of the NL for the 1 seed all year, Meerkat.
Yep, I'm right there with you. That was going to be my next one too. The Braves, just another really well built team there. Great pitching staff, great lineup. That's a team where they can be up against anybody in the MLB, and I can talk myself into taking them any given night, even against the Dodgers or somebody. They Braves can beat any team home or away. Just very sound. If they stay healthy this year, it's going to be hard to stop them. And at plus money, that's taking money from the books, in my opinion. I'm not afraid of the Mets.
Exactly, and that's why the line is where it is, because people are all over the Mets. They're plus
Mm-hmm.
140. I don't think they're there yet. The top end of that rotation with DeGrom and Stroman obviously is very, very nice. But I think, looking at them, the rest of that team, they're just not there. Carlos Carrasco and Taijuan Walker are going to have really good years. David Peterson, if he improves and continues to grow off of his debut, 6-2 last year, and 9 starts, he offers a good potential, to be that third guy for you. But the Marlins are going to be there threatening as well. I think they're going to take enough wins away from the Mets to allow the Braves to win this division. But let's look at some player futures here, Meerkat. I'm going to start, with some Rookie of the Year talk. I think, Ke'Bryan Hayes is the leader there in the NL Rookie of the Year, and that's quite warranted. He had a 1.9 WAR in just 24 games last year, hit 376 in those appearances, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, and even, got himself a stolen base and carried that over into the spring, hit 431 and 54 plate appearances, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. The dude has it all. He steps in to Pittsburgh and he is immediately the face of that team and the franchise at plus 350 as the favorite. I think, it might be worth some money there, but Meerkat, there are a few other names you and I both like on that list.
Yeah, I'm all in on Ke'Bryan Hayes there, but plus 350, it's still good enough odds so you can take another guy or two and guarantee yourself some profit if any of them hit. And there's some great pitchers this year, great rookie pitchers. I'm huge on Sixto Sanchez. You saw me last season on DDZ taking his over on strikeouts, taking Miami whenever he was pitching. Big on him. Same with Ian Anderson, another guy we love here. But I don't want to see a pitcher win Rookie of the Year. I like to lean a batter. That's why I like Ke'Bryan. Dylan Carlson, though, really interesting. People are huge on him. He's looking like a surefire type of guy. Can he step it up and be better than Ke'Bryan and contribute more? Maybe he's worth a little value there, plus 700. And then a couple other guys, at some big numbers there, but you might not see them on the field as much, like a Joey Bart at plus 1,500. He's got Buster Posey on that team too and stuff. But another guy, a super highly touted prospect, looked great coming up to the major spring training this year. He's batting like 450 with some power hitting, flashing a bit there. Another exciting guy, but he might not get the plate appearances you need. Pache, another super interesting guy there who people are super high on and could just absolutely explode this year. But, is he going to be consistent enough? That card's beautiful. That card is gorgeous. That's everything says Ke'Bryan, but there's definitely some value plays. You can take one or two there if you like a few guys.
Yeah, and I'm looking at I'll look over at the AL side a little bit too. I love Jared Klenich. I think he should have a very good season. You saw what Ryan Mountcastle was able to do, got his first 2 career home runs against the Blue Jays last year, hit one down Seneca Street. Anyone who knows that's Coke Field knows how hard you have to hit the ball to do that. I think you'll be able to get some value maybe on a guy like Casey Mize at 15-1, Garrett Crochet 18-1. He's the first guy to make his debut in the MLB out of that draft class. Garrett Crochet offers a big flame throwing arm. Shout out Dunny. Let's see some time. Let's see. Yeah. Let's lose these ties and hit some dingers. Exactly. Let's hit a ton of dingers. I think that's exactly what baseball needs. And if you look at the spring training numbers, Meerkat, the baseball was kind of juiced there later on. And that's when they were supposedly introducing the new balls. So that's why, as we get into our plays here, I'm not going to be taking any of these over-unders for the entire game, because looking at that juice ball, you saw more home runs at a higher rate in the second half of the spring training than ever before. I don't like that premise going into the season here. Obviously, the ball doesn't travel as much right now in the cold cities, so that'll be a little bit different. So we'll see how it starts to play out to the beginning of the season. But Meerkat, what are you on to start off your picks?
Yeah, I feel you there with the totals. I'm going to avoid totals for probably a week. And, I'm a guy who's adamant I don't bet totals in basketball. I don't bet totals in football. But the one sport I will is baseball because you get a little less variables there betting on pitchers and lineups and stuff in other sports. But I'm kicking off today a play that you said you liked last night. I'm sure you like it today with your get up. Blue Jays money line plus 160 against the Yanks. I'm not hammering this or anything. Definitely a bit of bias playing in here. We love our Buffalo Blue Jays, sounding like, there may be some news coming soon about them playing some games in Buffalo again this season. We'll see on that. But you have Ryu coming on the mound. He's just calm, cool, and collected up there, and he's going to carry that over this year after a good year last year. Going up against Garrett Cole, he's not going to be phased, and Garrett Cole is an absolute monster. I'm a Yankees guy, but he could be shooken, especially by this Blue Jays lineup. They're just young and exciting, and if you can get Cole out of that game fairly early, the Yankees bullpen still isn't great. They still don't have Aroldis Chapman. Blue Jays can take absolute advantage of that, and I'm excited to see Skinny Vladdy and Bo just absolutely light it up this year.
And speaking of that game, that's going to get me into our next topic as we get into some of our picks. First inning over unders, that 0.5 runs in the first inning. That's one of my favorite pastimes to bet. And Meerkat, I'm seeing an absolute great tweet here from Dan Fetz. I got to pull it up. I will not bet every no-run first inning. I will not bet every no-run first inning. That's what I have to keep telling myself right now. It's like they're almost printing free money. They're giving you that under 0.5 in that Yankees Blue Jays game. Minus 130. That's a great play. Throw it in some parlays today because a minus 130 and some parlay fodder. Nom. Give it to me all day. I think that game's going to start a little bit slow, and then those Jays bats are going to get going because we saw in spring training they had the most runs or the most wins out of any team, and they were hitting the absolute shit out of the ball. You saw Vladdy and Rowdy and some of these other guys really, pumping the ball deep. Tons of exit velo. No George Springer right away on the IL, which sucks, but I still think they're going to be much improved. You had Marcus Semien to that lineup. That's a big name that a lot of people aren't talking about. I think that's going to go a long, long way. But looking at some of these other games, some of the other no runs in the first inning games that I like, I love that Braves Phillies one. You have Aaron Nola going up against Max Fried. I think you should be able to get that one. I think that one's a little more juice, like around 140 or so. And then also the Rays Marlins. You got Glass now going up against Sandy Alcantara. I'll get back on that game, but I like the under in the first inning there, Meerkat. What's your next play?
My next play, a little bit of a parlay here that I love. I'm probably going to hammer this one. Moneyline parlay, Indians, Padres today. Get it about plus 115 range. You love to see the plus money on just two absolute monsters of teams heading into opening day. I'm big on Slam Diego this year. Tatis is going to be an absolute electric factory again. It's hard not to love that guy unless you're one of those old school baseball purists. The Vlad flips are bad, all that. But you love it. And then, you got Darvish taking them out. It's going to be weird seeing him for the Padres, but I like him going up against Madison Bumgarner today. And so, Mad Bum kind of taking a bit of a drop off. He's not the same pitcher he was. And I like Darvish, even though he can be inconsistent. I don't think this one's going to be close. San Diego's just so complete. And the Indians, you got Shane Bieber versus Matt Boyd there. That's all you need to know about this game.
No, absolutely. I'm going to go right back here to this Marlins game. You're able to get them at plus 120 against the Rays. I think the Rays are going to take a step back this year. Glass now, a lot of people are talking about impossible Cy Young. I still don't think he's there. This Marlins team is going to be sneaky good. They added Starling Marte last year at the trade deadline. He's a guy who's a sneaky, 280, 290. He's had over 300 seasons. And I think, he could put another one together, 320 home runs, and that really helps carry this team. But it's not just him. You had Brian Anderson, who actually led the entire division of all third basemen in entire WAR, which was a career high pace for him. And Sandy Alcantara, another guy who was putting up career numbers, only a 3 ERA last year. I think, that's a big improvement out of that team. And, I wish Trevor Rogers was thrown today, led all of the major leagues in spring training with the most strikeouts. I think he's going to really make a big improvement for that pitching staff in the long run. And you're going to get Sixto Sanchez in the next couple of weeks. He just had a late start to the spring, so only made 3 appearances. So you're going to see some out of him, and he was already lighting up the radar gun over 100 miles per hour, Meerkat. So I like the Marlins this year. I think they're going to be a team to watch to make us some free money.
Yeah, Marlins are going to be sneaky this year for sure, and I agree with you. The Rays take a step back. I got one more normal play for the day. It's going to be the White Sox money line. I mean, you already heard me gush about them with the AL Central future. Today, Lucas Giolito up on the mound. Guy made us a lot of money last year, can just strike out absolutely anybody. I want to see him mow down that Angels lineup all day. And the White Sox are going to be able to put up those runs. So, I just like the White Sox. They're pretty good value at -115. And just one more future I forgot to bring up. I like in terms of MVP, the only MVP future I'm going to be taking, Ronald Acuna Jr. plus 800. Me and Ty B, we love this dude. He's a monster, literally. I mean, he can do it all. I think his biggest competition is going to be Juan Soto, but I think Acuna might have the edge coming into this year with the Braves lineup being what it is and how good the Braves are going to be. He's going to be a major driving force behind that team.
Oh, absolutely. And, one of those teams again that, we're both behind, the Athletics. I'm on them today. That game is about a pick 'em, -110, -105, somewhere in that region. I love the Athletics at home. They're a great team at home, 22-10 last year. And the Astros 9-23 on the road last year. Yeah, the trends, point in that direction of the Athletics, especially after winning 7 of their 10 matchups last year. You have Chris Bassett going on the mound 5-2 last year, 2.29 ERA, was up there in the top 10 of the AL Cy Young voting. I mean, the whole Oakland pitching staff was phenomenal last year with the 5th lowest ERA in all of baseball, and they had the best bullpen in all of baseball. Actually, they lost a couple pieces, but they also bring in some more veteran arms like Trevor Rosenthal, Sergio Romo, guys who've had really good seasons in the past. And the A's sort of figure out how to bring the best out of guys. So I think that's a really good spot for them if their bats can figure it out, get a little bit hotter from last year. I think they're going to be a dominant team all year, and the Astros are going to be another team where we're going to see them not be what we're used to seeing, at least over the last 4 to 5 years. They're going to be taking a step back as well, like the Rays, Meerkat.
Yeah, don't doubt that at all. Nobody wants to root for this Astros team. I was telling you, only person I like on the Astros team is Yordan Alvarez, and he wasn't part of the cheating team, so I'm cool with him. I want to see him have a good season. But yeah, we're big on the Athletics this year. Me and you're on the same wavelengths with a lot of these teams. Makes me feel good heading in opening day. We got the futures place. We got a whole slate to bet on all day. I'm probably going to be placing more stuff as the day goes on. Just why not? It's opening day.
Absolutely, Meerkat. Can't wait. We're going to be lacing bets. Make sure you get down to the creek. Make sure you go hammer your books. Do whatever you got to do. Make sure you go get that free money. So for myself here, Ty B and Meerkat, good afternoon.